It reveals one of former President Trump's new attorneys proposed last fall that Trump's team could try to negotiate a settlement with the Justice Department in the classified documents case. But the paper reports Trump was having none of it. Attorney Christopher Kise reportedly wanted to quietly approach DOJ to see if he could arrange a settlement that would avoid charges and include the return of all documents. But the former president was not interested in listening to the plan, so Kise never approached prosecutors. That's according to 3 people briefed on the matter. They say Trump instead took the advice of Tom Fitton, the head of the conservative group Judicial Watch, and others who told him he could legally keep the documents and should fight the DOJ.
Not good.
This is Jackie. This is again Donald Trump and his boxes that he doesn't want anyone else to have. Is it possible the DOJ would have considered such a deal?
That is a very good question, Mika, even though this was a brainstorm from Christopher Kise, the attorney who appeared with Donald Trump earlier this week, who was shortly sidelined after this proposal was made and after he sort of felt out some players about potentially reaching out to the Department of Justice. But it seems unlikely that the Justice Department would have agreed to even coming to some sort of agreement with Trump's team, especially even in that time period. They already knew that the former president was in possession of classified materials that were highly classified, top secret, and contained things regarding nuclear codes and again, highly sensitive top secret documents related to the military. But as we report, the former president was never interested in taking a deal. He's always claimed that these were his papers, that all of the boxes contained newspaper clippings, just papers that he had picked up along the way. Obviously, we've seen that not to be true, as over 100 classified documents ultimately were outstanding when the Justice Department executed their search warrant. But the former president does continue to seem to take Tom Fitton's advice. He was at a dinner with Trump this week, the night before his arraignment. They had stakes at BLT Prime at the Doral Miami on Monday night. We did speak with Fitton for this piece, who did not really confirm or deny that he provided the former president with legal advice, but did say that he does speak with Trump quite often and does provide him with advice, generally speaking, and referenced this Clinton Socks case, a 2009 reference to these tapes that Taylor Branch had of Bill Clinton that really have nothing to do with classified documents.
Yeah, you know, Willie, and again, this is a thing where Donald Trump has spent the last 50 years sort of playing the tabloid game, pushing off the New York Post, Daily News, all this other stuff, insulting opponents, insulting Rosie O'Donnell, and it's all been a swirl for him. He always stays, it's like 5 minutes ahead of the creditors, 5 minutes ahead of the judges, But again, there's no better evidence that he doesn't, well, I think maybe he does now, but he didn't understand what he was stepping into, what arena he was stepping into, right? This is like Gladiator without, a really good gladiator. He's in the ring, and this is, again, literally his life, possibly behind bars. And he's talking to some yahoo who again, people in the fevered swamps love listening to him. But he's talking to this guy for advice about, is Tom Fitton going to stay in jail with him for the rest of his life if he gets charged? No. He's going to be, typing and going on to the next sucker. That's what I just, again, his options, you look at Jersey, his options are running out. I mean, it seems to me a plea deal for him is, if they'll even plea with him at this point, if the judge from Andor will even plea with him at this point, I don't think he will.
It's always been a game to Donald Trump, as you say. For 40 years, it's been a game. Who's up, who's down? Oh, I got the back. I mean, we've lived through it, where he goes after you and then he sees you somewhere, pats you on the back. I was tough on you, you were tough on me, and that's it.
No.
Jack Smith doesn't take the pat on the back.
No.
This is deadly serious, and this could be a prison sentence for Donald Trump.